Well, we have our pilot episode of Driving Development. I'm Karl from TRIDEC. We're in the Honda Prologue, proudly sponsored by the Southeastern Washington Honda Dealers Association, Mustang Signs, and ourselves at TRIDEC. I'm joined today by Buck Taft, the CitiesAirport manager,
airport
director, and the amazing world-class former television personality, Jack Penning, CEO and principal founder of Volaire.
That's a good intro.
Is that? I think that was. I read this morning, or I heard this morning, about what your full title was. So I'm trying to get
you missed
right.
a few superlatives, but other than that, I liked it.
Okay, so today the whole theme of Driving Development is we're driving around the Tri-Cities and looking at developments, and one of the most critical parts of our infrastructure and where there is a ton of development going on is obviously the CitiesAirport, the best airport in the world, and Buck didn't even tell me to say that.
I mean, I know we're the best in Southeast Washington.
That's exactly right. And really, what is there to the world beyond Southeast Washington, right?
Hopefully there's something, or the airport shouldn't be here, but...
Jack, see, that's why you're the expert consultant. I mean, you know stuff like that. This is good.
I agree, it's a very fine airport.
Are we just following it?
Yeah, just follow right behind
Hit the brakes hard and it'll go viral.
Yeah, that's right. So, we're actually out here on the taxiway.
Yep, on the movement area.
This is great. So this is, I think we'll be able to see this 360 view in the video that we send out. So, Buck, while we're here, do you want to point out any landmarks, features, or maybe projects that we're working on out here in the active area?
Yeah, so we're getting ready. Once we get clearance from the tower, we're going to head out onto runway 1230, which right now is one of our biggest projects we have going on, and we're shifting the runway 300 feet to the north.
Okay.
Really it's not adding capacity or adding anything. The whole purpose of this is to be in compliant with the FAA engineering specifications, safety standards. The runway as it was designed just wasn't quite up to their standards, and what we're doing when we shift that runway is just making everything safer for airport operations.
So, like a clearance issue, is that part of it, or
we
something?
had a service road where FAA likes to make sure all vehicles are out of the movement area.
Okay.
This road intersected the safety area of the runway, so now we're shifting the runway to the north. We're building the road around, making all of the intersections more compatible with FAA engineering standards.
Okay. And so these barricades across the runway we can see over here, that's where you've got the runway blocked off.
Yep. And I mean, we blocked the runway off on all access points.
Yeah.
We've got the lights have all been removed. They're turned off.
Okay.
We have lighted X's 24 hours a day telling people not to land. We've got informational bulletins called NOTAMs, notice to airmen, that are out saying the runway's closed. So we've done everything possible to ensure that the runway is closed and not accidentally landed upon.
Okay. And while we're here, I mean, which direction? I assume like this way back there, right, is the active runway.
Yeah, the active runway is the east-west runway now.
East-west, okay.
Where normally we're on a north-south basis.
Okay. Are we facing north right now?
Right now we're facing south. That was really?
But that's south over there.
We're southeast.
Okay.
South is the general.
You're both great with the compass rose. That's why I come up here.
So when you land on a runway, this is runway
31.
Okay.
And basically the 13 aligns with compass, magnetic heading.
Oh, okay.
So whenever you're landing, you know.
Right.
If we were at 18, it would
actually
be
130 degrees.
Yeah.
13 is 130. You lop off the 0.
Yeah.
Oh.
18 would
13
be 180.
would be 01.
Okay. This is great.
Yeah.
Again, Jack in his consultant role.
Yes, he's very saved the day. Pertinent information.
Hey, when you land, you want to know what direction to face.
Yes.
General.
So you can see all the earthwork that's been done out there, the trucks moving around. This project's scheduled to be finished, started in March, and it should be finished around November.
Okay. And so it's basically going, would you say 500 feet that way, right?
300 feet to the north.
To the north.
Yep. So the runway distance is not changing. It's just
Okay.
we're taking 300 feet off this end, putting 300 feet on the other end.
Gotcha. That's right, because we're facing southeast. Yeah.
So the runway you're driving on right now is going to still be the runway.
Yeah.
It's just it will start 300 feet farther.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is the main runway that the airlines use in the morning, and it's mostly because it's right next to the terminal. They can get right out and take off and head where they're going. The majority of our operations take off to the north.
Okay. Maybe you should have them call me.
Yeah, have them call Karl. This would be good if you want to pull up by the X and you can see.
Like going that way?
Yeah, you can pull up next to him.
Okay.
And then just park and you can look out.
Okay. We cut you off.
He cut us off.
Which way should I go?
Just go around him.
Okay.
And then you can just park like on the 3.
Okay.
And look out.
Which way?
Just right here. Or you can turn around and look the other way. You can sit here for a little bit.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to drive and do the interview at the same time.
Well, if we were going like at highway speeds, I'd just be...
That's true. We're just on the run.
Yeah. So Jack, how about just an update for us on how are we doing at the Tri-Cities Airport? I know you got some new data. You always have good data, but what's the latest on the Tri-Cities Airport?
So it's been, absolute incredible growth. What we've seen over the last 20 years is 50% growth every 10 years. So 50% growth from 2006 to 2016, another 50% growth in passengers 2016 to today.
Wow.
It's one of the only airports in the country that's seeing growth like this. And, that's, I think, why you see the construction going on. That's why when you're in the terminal, you see construction, because it's very hard 20 years ago to say, 20 years from now, we're going to have 2,000 people a day flying out of this airport, when at the time you've got about 500.
Wow.
And so it's one of the real bright spots, not just for Washington State, not just for the Pacific Northwest, but for all of the U.S. in terms of what economic growth means to an airport, and in terms of what an airport can do for an economy, because it goes hand in hand. This part of Washington, if you live in a different part of the Northwest, you're very jealous of what's going on economically in this part of the Northwest.
That's a great way to put it. I'm wondering, Jack, how long have you worked with the Tri-Cities Airport?
Almost 20 years.
And is there, of course, a connection, like let's say results, between that doubling every 10 years and maybe your role?
I think it's the only real reason, probably. It matches my tenure.
Ironic.
Perfectly. Yeah. I wish that I could take credit for it. Consultants are as good as the markets they get to work in. But somebody asked me, I was in another state and doing a presentation at a conference, and they asked me, you're consultants, you can just work for whatever airport and it doesn't really matter if they're successful. I said, that's not how I run my business, because I want to be at only the successful airports, because they keep hiring consultants. If you fail, your job is done.
Yeah.
And so there is a big incentive when you are tied in with the market and tied in with Buck and you too, Karl, for as long as we have it, to continue finding ways to make progress. And that's what we're doing. LAX service just started a few months ago. It's doing awesome on Alaska. Every single morning that plane leaves and every evening it comes back. And it's because we weren't satisfied with the 9 cities we had service to. We wanted our 10th, and now we want our 11th.
It's a great way to put it. I think, in economic development, that we work on partners with Port of Pasco and other port partners and cities and counties, and then so many private businesses. I think it's the same thing about community, right? Like if you don't have a size, infrastructure, location, like there's all these criteria that you've got, then you can't really do true recruiting kind of economic development like we are able to do here in the Tri-Cities because of the dynamics of the community. And it sounds like it's the same, obviously, to your point, Jack, with an airport, that you can't make a community into something that it's not and attract airlines or companies or everything else. If you don't have those attributes that you need to really do recruiting.
You've got to have both.
Yeah.
The other piece is momentum plays such a huge role. And markets that have been stagnant for a long time, it takes years and years and sometimes decades just to get the momentum going.
Yeah.
To get a second route or something like that. Where if you're in a market that's seeing continual growth and continues to support the seats, the other key is this market's big enough that every new flight we bring in, there are enough passengers to support that flight.
Yeah.
So the numbers then continue to look even more impressive to the airlines that you're recruiting.
Sure.
The momentum is everything. Anything that stops the momentum, and we're going to be on a backslide. That's just how it goes. And so it is our job to ensure that we're serving the community the best we can. And that's really job number one for me with the air service. And number two, to get people on those flights. As long as we do those things, we will continue to have success.
That's well put. I mean, that point that you bring up is the reason that I like to refer to our own Taft now as mainline. Like he says, as his new nickname, because
Nice.
for all the RONs, the remain overnights, Buck has, and I mean the airlines have upscaled to mainline, right? So, and I'm just repeating what Jack has told us when we sit down with airlines, but that if you fill a bigger plane and you've got that demand coming in at night and then it stays here overnight and then in the morning it flies out full on a big plane, that's a huge way to put the numbers up and continue that momentum that you described, right, Jack?
Yeah, and air service development, I think, Buck, we've focused on this a lot. It's not just about a new route or a new airline. It is about ensuring access to the most popular times of day, to the hubs that get us everywhere we go.
Yeah.
And probably the majority of the work that we've done over the last couple of years has been getting larger planes into those prime time channels.
Yeah.
So that there are seats available when people want to travel. And even today, we have challenges with that, but where we don't have enough seats, even though we've got a big plane.
Yeah.
No, and some of our news lately has just been we added a new Salt Lake City flight at 9-ish in the morning.
Yeah.
And people don't really get excited about that, but we're trying to celebrate it because there's another market that plane came out of and is losing that flight. And the fact that we're getting more seats is important. Yes, we all want the new route.
Yeah.
You know, we want to go to DFW, we want to go to Portland, we want to go to San Diego. But filling those seats will make that next route easier.
Totally.
And I guess a trend that we've seen is consolidation of air service. Obviously, 130 airports have lost an airline since the pandemic. But what it's meant here in the Tri-Cities is CitiesAirport is more important to all of Southeast Washington than it ever has been, because people in Walla Walla have exceptionally limited access to air service. They have to fly out of here. So we have to make sure that we have enough seats, not just for the Tri-Cities, but for our neighbors in Walla Walla, for Yakima, where the air service has been so limited. We are the lifeline. So CitiesAirport isn't just about the Tri-Cities anymore. It's about economic development for the entire